All right. So I'm here. You know the channel. Don't go alone just to get along. Let me remove this real quick. And I'm with my friend Albert, and we're gonna just touch on a few things. Some about recent news, current events. Some are more along the lines of historical events. And I just want to get Albert's thoughts and opinions on some of these subject matters. He and I have had the opportunity to have a few conversations, and you know me, when I come across somebody that has a like mind and a very, very intriguing topic, and more importantly, something that I feel that all the people can benefit from an educational standpoint, I'm all about that action. I'm all about that smoke. I want all the smoke. So basically, I want him to jump in. I want us to talk about some of these things. I know one of the first things on the menu. Let's talk about the more recent topic here within the last 7 to 10 days. Let's talk about your thoughts as a local Tanzanian, schooled in Uganda, definitely the roots throughout East Africa, and many, 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 many ties here, right here in East Tanzania. Let's talk about, should we, or should East Africa, should any part of Africa celebrate, commemorate, and mourn the death of Queen Elizabeth?
Now, first and foremost, you have to ask yourself, how many presidents have we mourned for 5 days? African presidents.
Mm, I don't know. You tell the people. He knows his history, so you tell the
Let
people.
us go. Let me give you an example.
Okay,
We didn't mourn for President Mkapa.
Makapa.
Yeah,
Okay, that's Makapa. He said
for
we
five
did
days.
we didn't mourn for Makapa for
For
five days.
5 days, yeah, exactly. We didn't mourn Magufuli
Wow.
for 5 days.
Which many people have much respect for.
Yeah, exactly. People came all the way from Rwanda, Kenya,
Hmm.
just to buy it.
That's true.
Mm.
I remember that. Thank you for reminding me. Very, very true.
So I don't think we are even going to mourn the current president, for 5 days when she when she passes. That's the reality.
He say that's the reality. I mean, that's been the trend, so I
That's
could
the
see why he
reality.
would come up with that thought process.
That's the reality. So I don't think it's for us. We don't do that shit.
Okay.
Mm.
So you feel like,
It's
first of
just
all,
for
go
me
ahead.
what I think.
Hmm.
Sorry,
No, no.
what I think is it's the president who wants to show the Western countries that she's with them.
Mm.
But most definitely, it's not all we're not all supporting the Western cultures.
Hmm.
Some of us support, some of us we don't. You
Okay.
get it? So mourning the Queen, the person who colonized us,
Thank you.
colonized us for some years,
Yeah, this woman
way
died at
back.
96, and she was appointed at the age of 25.
Exactly.
So
So
she's had a lot to do with Africa's immobility over the
we
past
have
70 plus
we
years.
have
Go
we
ahead.
have our own concern. We have our own issues
True.
here in Africa.
Hmm.
Bringing okay, we mourn deaths.
Okay.
Let me give an example. You go to the village, not even village, just when you ask someone, do you know Queen Elizabeth?
Right.
Any local who never
Right.
went to school,
Okay.
but if you check the percentage, there are a lot of people who never went to school.
Yeah, it is, unfortunately.
How are you convincing that person to mourn someone he or she never
Yeah.
heard of or seen the person?
True. True. I get it.
We know that UK is a monarchy, it's not a republic,
Mm-hmm.
it's a monarchy. So we are not, our country is not a monarchy.
True.
We're two different, we have a different constitution
Okay.
with UK. What do you mourn? We feel sorry for the people of UK, but I can't mourn for for the queen.
Okay.
What should I?
I get it. I get it. I agree. Tuka Pamoja. I mean, Kabisa. I think it's all the wrong signs of, you know, like you said, man. You know, you're showing your alliance to the West. You say some people are in agreement with that. Some people are not. I think it's fair to say I'm with you. Why would you do that for someone who has been in charge, has been the chief commander, if you will,
Mm,
of calling shots, literal shots,
mm,
um, against people who are no longer with us because this person was behind it. They were what we call the catalyst.
mm,
They were the think tank, you
mm,
know, in terms of eliminating, removing. So I agree with you. Is there anything else you want to say about that
nah,
subject? Yeah, it's kind of straight to the point.
mm,
Why would you do it?
mm,
Uh, you know, the people don't need that type of steering, if you will, in terms of like, hey, this is what we do, this is a good thing, this is commendable. No, no, you gotta learn how to step on your oppressor's neck. You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
Yeah.
So he said he don't have nothing else to say about that, and
Nah.
neither do I for the moment. um, what are your thoughts and knowledge of leaders in, you know, the East African Union, specifically those countries that you're very aware of? You know, I know Rwanda is something that you have expertise in. Kenya, obviously Tanzania and Uganda. You're very familiar with Uganda.
Mm.
What are your thoughts on those countries' acceptance or how receptive they are of the diaspora? You know, this is something that I really want people to pay attention to.
But
Go ahead. I'll go ahead.
you see, our late president Nyerere,
Mm-hmm.
before he died, he left us with one sort of code. He
Okay,
said
one code. Okay, I got that.
the Western countries left through the front door,
Uh huh. I heard this before. Go ahead.
and believe me, they'll be back through the back door.
Wow.
Meaning, most of our African countries were all colonized.
Uh huh.
Because we know that we are colonized,
Okay.
we choose to be ignorant.
Wow. Okay. True indeed.
Most of the people
Uh huh.
choose to feed their pockets through the Westerners.
Wow.
Now, you can't tell me that you come all the way from US or any other country.
Okay.
You pass all other countries and then you come to Africa. Let me give an example of the US. There's
Talk a
there's
little
a,
higher. A little higher.
there's a country near US.
Uh huh.
Haiti, is it Haiti?
Haiti. Haiti.
Yeah,
Haiti.
Haiti. Haiti has faced a lot of problems.
That's true.
The earthquakes, the lives are not. I can say I'm better off in Tanzania more than
Yeah,
in
Haiti's
Haiti.
had a lot of oppression and
Mm.
just a lot of things that have been planned to keep them in a
What
submissive.
does what does Haiti have as a resource? The
Uh,
national resource.
I don't know them off the top of my head. I know they do have some, but unfortunately, much like Africa, they also have a lot of importation of things that they don't need. They can have, they have the resources to generate that stuff on their own, but they get it from other countries, and obviously, there's
That's
countries
the
that don't
thing.
have their best
Mhm.
interests in mind.
Now that's the thing. You see, the problem is we import a lot of stuff, but we can make them in our country.
That's true. Very true.
You see, there's one thing which our country president, I just bit of light on what she brought in some investors, but the locals have to be, they have to own much of them. the
Oh, okay. A
businesses.
larger percentage of the business. Okay.
Yeah, that's what. Now the thing is, the Western countries don't come in a country without a purpose.
That's true.
Without a
Absolutely. I agree
purpose,
to Kumamoja.
they usually have a purpose. So for them to come
Mm-hmm.
to a certain country in Africa. Take an example of Congo.
Okay.
There's no country in Africa with a lot of mineral resources,
Then the Congo. More than the Congo.
more than Congo.
I agree.
You see, but that country has never been stable.
That is true, and that's a very good point. Elaborate on that. Speak more about that.
It has never been stable. They come now. There's a disease called Ebola in Congo.
True.
So UN is also in Congo,
Yes.
and UN it comprises of European countries, most
True.
European
They
countries.
do. I agree.
So when they come, it doesn't mean that they come to support or they come to help. I
That's
don't
true.
think I'm 100% sure that's not the fact.
It's just common sense, right? You
Yeah,
know.
that's not the fact.
Yeah,
You
I
see,
agree.
they come with a purpose,
That's true.
exploiting.
That's true.
They say they call it help, but that's not help.
It's not help. It's never been help. It never will be help.
There's another thing they usually like giving loans to a certain country. So you, so you,
Loans that the people can never escape.
yeah, you can't escape.
You can't escape it.
They will give you, provide you money,
Hmm.
provide with everything. You get me.
And
But
again, why are you doing this? Because you have what you need
they
in your
have,
own land. But go
yeah,
ahead.
they have their own motives why they come here. I remember when Obama was the president, he came with this theory that you should allow gay marriage in Africa.
Uh-huh.
I remember he went to the current president of Uganda. He declined.
Okay. That's good news. A lot did because it just ain't gonna fly
Even
as easy in
even
Africa.
yeah,
Hmm.
because that's not how we are raised.
Right, right.
That's new to us. This this gay thing started way back. Not even the Arabs, way back. These Western people.
True.
So I don't think that these Western people come here without a motive.
Okay. I agree. That's definitely been the history.
Exactly. So I think that has best bit of light I can give you on that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
most of the African leaders are puppets.
Our puppets.
Yeah, they are puppets.
Okay. That's clear. I agree.
They are there because they were chose to be there. Someone put them there.
Mm.
Mm, they have their own reason of why they are there. It's not that I can't elect some of the presidents. I never elected any of the presidents.
I agree. Hey, by the way, same thing in the West. They think that they're electing presidents. They're not electing
They're
presidents.
not electing
Those presidents
presidents.
are put right
They
there.
put that there.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's I think the system used in the US. You see the presidents, Obama, a lot of black Americans voted for Obama.
True.
He's from Kenya. What did he do for his country?
True. Nothing.
Nothing.
Not for black
Instead,
people.
instead he came and killed our African leader, Gaddafi.
There you go.
What the hell? Eh?
Out of an African's
But
mouth.
now it was planned.
Mhm.
I know the Western people plan every move they make.
That's true.
You see, they never killed Gaddafi when Bush was there, and you know how aggressive Bush was. He went to war with Iraq and whatever. So they had to choose an African to kill a fellow African.
Mm.
You see,
Hmm.
they usually turn us against each other.
Unfortunately.
So that's what I mean. African leaders, for those who are Let me give an example of an African country, Zimbabwe.
Hmm.
Back in the days, Zimbabwe used to even provide food for South Africa. Its currency was, it had value.
Hmm.
Zimbabwe's currency had value
Okay.
more than even South Africa.
Okay.
But those days is when the Westerns were in Zimbabwe. They owned big plots of land. They owned big plots of businesses.
Okay.
It's when this guy took them out and gave them to the people. Then what happened? So they rejected him, help, no whatever. Now we are facing that Zimbabwe is in the same situation because of the Westerns. Not because they chased them away. No, it's because they caused that. You get me?
Gotcha. Uh huh.
They are the reason that countries at that position. You get me?
Yes.
Now, their money has no value.
Yeah, I know. I saw a documentary on that
There's
years ago where people were taking the money and just putting it in the trash can, putting it on fire and just putting it in trash cans.
because
It was no value.
that's all about the West. That's what they do. You're either with them or against them. You
Yeah.
get me?
Yeah, no, I get you. I get you.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie with you.
So that's it. That's all. Mm.
What's your thought, if you care to expound on how receptive some of the leaders here are, uh, the blacks from UK, Canada, America, speaking specifically, obviously USA,
Mm.
even some of the islands. Do they do they really want them to come here? Do they want to see the brotherhood unite, or what's your thoughts on that? Or it's because a lot of
Okay, now
people.
listen.
Go ahead.
You're black. I'm black.
True.
We are both origin. Both we are all originated from Africa.
True.
But person who can get more support in this country or any other African country is the
Mm,
white.
that's true. I've witnessed that with
No
my.
matter how much
I'll
money you
let you
have
tell it.
as a black American or black UK from UK, because we see all that. Because we Africans, most of us, we believe that the white people, they're the only people with everything, with the knowledge,
A solution.
with the
Of,
solution, every
okay.
solution. You get me?
Yeah, I get you.
That's not the case. You
So,
can see we have rich people in America, black rich people, but you see the history is some of them have been their lives have been destroyed by the whites. Why? They don't want you to succeed as a black person.
true.
We have been we see it every day.
True. True.
Mike Tyson, what was it? He had his own issues, but the real cause of his downfall was the whites.
Hmm.
This guy was going to be big in his career,
Hmm.
so they had to make some sort of, I don't know what they did,
Distraction or
distraction.
his fall, like they generally do with.
His weakness, they go into they use these weaknesses to destroy him. They use the wife, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, to destroy his life.
Hmm.
So that's the thing. Uh, we don't value our fellow black people more than we value the Western white people.
I agree. Sad but true. One thing that you just said that it really has my mind thinking as you said that. So it's not even about the money thing. So you mean to tell me if a black,
It's a mentality, not a money thing. It's a mentality. It's someone's mentality.
and I've witnessed some of this, but just for clarity purpose for the viewers, you mean to tell me that even for so basically if a black guy who proves that he has the economic stability and financial savviness uh, to basically make some things happen uh, just because of the color of his skin.
Mm,
That deal will be given to as what we affectionately, if you will, refer to as a Mzungu here. It
exactly.
would be given. So
Yeah.
hold on. I want to go a certain place with this, and the floor is yours. This is your interview. But so what I'm hearing, and correct me, tell me if I'm saying it wrong, is that basically white, i.e., Mzungus, have more clout, which is basically
Mm,
they have more influence here.
definitely.
Wow, than even the black people,
Yeah.
whether they're from U.S., UK.
Definitely. Definitely.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the thing. We have much influence. If you're black American right now, going to speaking your Swahili, if
Mm-hmm.
you've learned,
Mm-hmm.
you have your money in your pocket, you're going to, let us take an example, one of the biggest hotels, and comes a Mzungu,
Mm-hmm.
you dressing in a suit, they'll ask you a lot of questions, search you, do whatever, but the Mzungu will pass through, even wearing slippers and shorts.
Wow. I've heard you're not the first person to say that. Let me ask you this. So that's with the locals and
Mm,
that's with
that's,
people. Go ahead. You know where I'm going, I
yeah,
think. But what about if it's with, I'm just gonna call it a government official. But what if it's with, again, are we together with trying to have the same goal in mind to make Africa, is the great place that it's always been, and to return to that place, and to be a place that looks after Africans first and foremost and nobody else before Africans. Well, what about if you're trying to work something like that? Do you think the Mzungus still have more influence?
the government,
Yeah,
they do.
really.
Yeah, they do. They do. They definitely do have influence in the government because if you see history, history tells us when the government uh, we ask for loans unnecessarily for I don't know what projects the government is setting
Mm-hmm.
because the government always has a lot of loans.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There are very few government officials who oppose the Western.
Say that one more time, a little loud. I want
There
you
are
to say.
very few
Wow.
government officials who oppose the Westerns than those who propose them.
Say it one more time. I promise you. I just want to make sure everybody's getting everything loud and clear. Let me pull it up.
I
Just.
can say it once again. There are very few government officials who oppose the Westerners than those who propose them.
Hmm. Wow.
This not
Okay.
this not this is like an culture, the African culture.
Uh
Most of
huh.
the countries,
Uh huh.
when you look at the Parliament of South Africa, if you
Okay.
make a follow up of South African Parliament, you'll know. uh, When you look at any country's parliament, you'll know that this it's an ongoing, not only one country, it's every country. Very few oppose, and a lot propose them.
Mm. So they stand behind them. They stand with
Yeah,
them.
stay with them because they know they gotta fill their pockets.
Wow.
Mm. They because you can't tell me it's the Westerns. What I know, they usually go to the countries with a lot of resources.
Okay.
Take an example. In our country here, we have uranium, we have Tanzanite gold,
Right.
diamond, we also have fewer
Yeah.
in Zanzibar and Tanga.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a problem with. Just let me give one. Now, if the Westerns wanted to support, not uh, to over influence the country,
Okay.
sort of influence. What term can I use? Okay, I think you get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
If 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 they wanted to support, you see, the Ukraine war and Russia wouldn't be happening. We wouldn't be in inflation
Mm-hmm. True. I get what you're
because
saying.
because when they come, they want to own everything.
Yeah, that's true.
When they
That's
come,
what they
they don't
do.
want to support, but they want to own.
That's true. That's true.
If if you have something, you want to own that something you have.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. They want them to be your voice, your face,
Mm-hmm.
and you be the worker.
Yeah,
You bring them an idea, you work for them, but what where do all the profits go?
I've
They go back
experienced that.
to yeah.
That's why when I go places, I specifically ask first and foremost, I only, to the best of my ability, support
Mm,
Gahawa, which is restaurants in Swahili that are African owned. To me, it makes no sense. Anybody that knows me, they know that I call it hustling backwards. Why would you leave or escape a West, system and come and do the same thing? At some point, some what I call sacrifices have to be made. But I'm not
exactly.
going to get off into that, basically sandbox, if you will. As I say that, have the comment sections. If you got a question for Albert, you want him to share on something else, definitely drop it in the comment section. So another thing that I would like to know, so we see that they have the influence and they have more influence,
They have the
unfortunately.
money. If you
But you
want to,
said it really don't even come down to money, because even if a black person that they know that has more money than that person, it sounds like that because of who they
no,
are. Go ahead.
I think there's one terminology. You have to make money to. You have to spend money to make money.
True.
That's what they do. They spend much money, but they
Mm.
earn a lot of money.
Yes.
But you Africans, for us Africans, we
Right.
only get very little
Right.
from. We only benefit very little
That money, that whole business setup.
from their business setup,
I agree.
either investment setup. We benefit very little from it. Uh, I don't know about this current president, but I know about our former president. He was down with African to develop and reach in a certain stage where they depend on themselves, not depending on any other countries. You see, that's what killed Gaddafi.
That independence talk. Anytime
Uh,
historically they've talked about that independence, that's when they come after them. They never
so,
really wanted them to be
what
independent.
Gaddafi wanted is for us Africans not to ask for any loans or help from Western
Mm-hmm.
countries. Now, how are the Western going to benefit from that? No, there's no going to benefit anything from that because he wanted us to have our own currency. Because if you see, a lot of resources come from Africa.
Okay. Yeah.
A lot of resources when you see Africa in general,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of resources come from this country.
True.
You get me?
Yeah, definitely.
To other
Tanzania is very rich in minerals. Yeah.
minerals, everything. You get me? So they don't want us to be dependent. They want us to depend on them.
True.
They want us to depend much on them than our own. You get
Yeah.
me?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely.
So
That's how you keep the people where you want them to be. The only way these people can maintain their position
mm,
is to keep you in your position and to keep that wide gap between the two. and that
Exactly.
keeps them living great and comfortable and
Mm,
easy
mm,
and enjoyable, and it
mm,
keeps the others living, as some may say, from hand to mouth,
mm,
day to day, etc.
mm.
Um, do you think, let me just ask the question, do you think that the officials, whether it's in the government or just different places throughout not only Tanzania but East Africa in general, do you think they love to see black Africans come here from the diaspora, meaning from the UK, Canada, America?
They
Do you think they embrace that? And do you think that they want the people to come here and share the knowledge of what they have experienced in dealing with the Westerners from back in the West?
no, I don't think so.
Please tell us why you don't feel like
They
that's.
don't. They don't want people to come and liberate liberate them.
Say it one more time.
They don't want any black people coming, black personnel coming from the west coming here to liberate them. Done.
Liberate.
Mm,
Wow. He said they don't.
they don't, yeah, unless otherwise it's beneficial to them.
Mm, that's a tough one to bite.
Unless otherwise it's beneficial. That's straight up.
Hmm.
That's a straight up thing. I'm telling
Wow. 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 Um, let me see. You think we can touch on this? There's another point that I wanted to ask you about
you.
when I asked you about a system that many may not know. He's looking for the waiter right now. So I just, what we want to do is touch on, if he'll give us an insight on, there's a system where slavery still exists, and kind of want to get some insight on how it's still
Slavery never ended. It has never
legal
ended.
here. Touch on that for me, if you will. I have a scenario that I know that opened my eyes about it, and my jaw was on the floor. But you know, you you go ahead unless you want me to lead or start off or whatever.
Slavery was never ended. Had never ended
Here,
here in Africa. Never.
okay, okay.
I don't know about here much, but I know of Africa. It never ended.
It never ended.
Yeah. Take, ex- take an example of Libya.
Libya. I've heard a lot of things
People are
about
being
Libya.
sold as slaves right now.
Hmm.
You see, that country reached a point where people, the citizens, wish they were slaves that they are citizens of the country. You get me?
Hmm. Wow.
I'd rather go and work as a slave in any Western country
Than
than
be a
living.
citizen in
Uh,
that country.
yeah, but they fucked it up themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
How?
What did they had everything? They had everything. They had, even if you had no job, you are paid monthly. You had free housing, free fuel, but you gave it all up because some influence from the West,
Something from the West.
influence
And
telling you that this guy killed a lot of people, killed your grandfathers long time ago. I wouldn't mind if you killed my grandfather and my country is developing. What the hell would I mind? Huh?
well, I mean, I
But
can still see.
now the thing is,
Hmm.
that country, no one is talking about it anymore. Not even us Africans, because we know they are they are big. They were stupid before what the Western told them.
Ah, gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
They were
I
stupid.
got you. I got you. I got you.
They are stupid to do whatever they were told to do by the Westerns. You
Hmm.
get me?
Hmm.
Mm. So I think, yeah, no, we have a lot to learn from, most especially black people from the Western countries, because they know what those white people do to them. They're the people who are there with the white people. they're the ones who tell us, man, don't do this, don't do that. But now the funny thing with us Africans, you can tell an African there's a lion in that bush, please
Right.
don't go there.
Okay.
But Africans believe by seeing. Let me go and see if it's still there. If it's there.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at
You
that. You
see,
know,
that's the problem.
I'm not mad at. Okay, so someone said, where were you, bro? Well, I guess then where are you? But hey, here, right here in Tanzania. Speaking about being in Tanzania specifically, there's one thing I want to touch on. So, what brought up the slavery conversation is recently I was informed about a situation
Mm,
where there was a Dada, that sister, that actually her village
mm,
basically sold her to some foreigners to work for those foreigners.
mm,
And she had to work for them, but she wasn't paid because they had already paid her. Well,
mm,
what opened my eyes to like, damn, this some real shit. This actually still going on
mm,
is that the only way they said she could basically no longer have to be tied to working for them
mm,
is that she had to get married, and it was actually an official, an officer, a police officer,
mm,
who had to come and basically mediate the situation, if you will, and
mm.
say no. I mean, she's gonna have to go back, and she can no longer, you know. It's a long story how she wanted to get away from those people who had initially purchased her and wasn't treating her right, and she wanted to go work for someone else. But the short of the long is that she actually had to get married to be free and not be those people property anymore. And that's 2022 news. So I
So,
go ahead. Yeah, let you
so
touch
now
it.
the thing is, like what I said before, it's all about mentality. We have those type of people, not only in this country, but in a lot of countries, where they believe they use a woman to gain the family's success, but that's not the case. If I have money right now and I like a certain girl in a certain family, they will easily give me, even if she was in studies. I have a friend. Let me give an example. Uh, he went on marrying a girl who was still schooling.
Okay.
You get me?
Yeah, friend was looking to marry a girl who was still in school.
But she was still young, very young.
Okay.
She did not reached that age of getting married. But now the thing is, the problem comes to the family,
Mm-hmm.
the father who accepted that. You accepted your daughter to get married to the guy who you believe has money. You send your daughter to get married to a person for your own benefits. You get me?
Yeah.
So that's all. That's not only to slavery is also within us.
True, true, true.
It's
But
within us. It's a mentality which we have. You get me?
right. But that's pretty deep for someone that it for it to be law though.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I know.
For it to be law,
Mm,
that the only way this young lady could acquire access her freedom is that she had to get married.
I get. Now the thing is, we're all free. Either you're a woman or you're a man, we're all
Yeah,
free.
yeah. Whether you know it or not, you know, yeah.
Actually, this time, women also have their own, what can I say, decisions. Back in the days, women had no decision. It's for a man to make a decision for a woman. You get me? So these days, uh, the years have changed. Things have changed. When a new generation to do and what to do what they can or what they want, respectively. to their cultures. You get
Okay.
me?
Yeah, I get it.
So slavery here, it's you can't enslave someone. It's all in your mentality. Slavery is in your mentality.
Then so ask me this. Answer me this again. Why is it that this young lady was sold by her village, and when she went to work for the people, she wanted to get away because of how they was treating her. They was never paying her because they had already paid the villagers.
They never paid the villagers,
And did
but they paid the parent who gave her away.
right.
Mm.
Okay, so that's exactly.
They
And
gave money to the parent, most especially maybe it's the father.
true, true. But
Mm.
this is the key thing. The key thing is she could not discontinue working. I mean, you had an officer that was on the scene enforcing written law and saying that no, she has to get married. That's the only way she can get out this agreement. That's slavery, bro. And
That's
that's just
slavery.
not in the mind. That's physical slavery.
Yeah, it's just physical slavery, but you can't. The person to be blamed is the parent who
Oh,
accepted.
I agree. I blame everybody that's involved, but I also look at the situation for what it is and
Mm.
say this is something that's being backed by law.
That's why I'm telling you that slavery is not it's still there.
Yeah, true, true.
Even in working place, you can see slavery is also there. Me, someone get being paid minimum wage while you're working a lot of stuff in the company or so in one's job. That's also slavery
It's a form of it, but at least you can
because.
leave that job and you can just be done with it. It's
But
totally
now
different.
the thing is,
What's up?
they're binded. You know what they think. What we don't know is the contract you sign
Hmm.
when you go to that job.
That's true. It's different, and I've never worked anywhere here,
Because
so I can
the
attest to
people
that.
enslave us through their contracts. You get me? You, slavery is now through contracts.
Hmm.
Someone is giving you a contract. If you don't read it,
Hmm.
if you don't have someone to elaborate more on that,
Uh huh.
you'll be a slave to someone without you knowing. Huh? For years, you've
Yeah.
been serving that person without you knowing. You wish, when time comes, just wish that I wish I, I, I knew it earlier or before. I would have been somewhere else at this moment.
True.
But the time has passed.
True.
You get me?
True. True.
So we also enslave ourselves.
Absolutely, I agree.
We want someone to be our slave. You get me? Someone is giving you a job to do, knowing that he wants you to be the slave.
I get what you're saying.
Mm. But that one has come as an habit, and most of people do that.
I got what you're saying.
Mm. Now, families, African families, not even not only in Tanzania, but when you look at African families, most especially poor families, that's what they do. They sell their kids.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't
not
know that.
not only to it's going to be slavery when a Western owns you or some people from outside country owns you, but we also slavery is also practicing within ourselves. You
Yeah,
get me?
I get you.
Mm. Not only by the Westerners, but within ourselves. But that's our mentality.
Yeah,
That's how we are. Eh?
yeah.
That's all I can say.
All right. Well, thank you for your time. I see it says my connection is probably a little unstable, so let's see what we got going here. And I'm just gonna end the stream. Hey, don't be afraid to comment, share your thoughts, let us know what you feel about the content. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Yeah, it was saying that.